What is going on, H-Town? The Houston Texans fall to the Jacksonville Jaguars 24-21, and man, were these refs horrible. And I am not a blame the ref type of guy. I have not once blamed the referees on this channel, but man, they were god-awful. I used to be a ref down here in Houston. Shout out to Tasso for a couple of years. I like to give them the benefit of the doubt, but multiple flags, key moments taking away from this Houston Texans team. Early in the game, the 50-yard go up and get it by Tank Dell. You throw a flag on him. Another Tank Dell moment. I mean, that was 2 feet. Everyone say it with me. Tank Dell was in. A toe tap on the sideline. They call it incomplete. The holding call on Steven Nelson when he was guarding Calvin Ridley. I mean, big moments were taken away by these referees, and all the Jaguars fans are gonna say, what about that hold from Jalen Peter that ended up with the Derek Stingley INT? I respond by saying, you give me that play, I'll give you 4 plays in the first quarter. That's how bad the officiating crew was today. Despite that, the Houston Texans still lost this game by only 3 points. They didn't just play against the Jacksonville Jaguars today. They also played against the officials. And here's what's crazy. Obviously, blaming the ref is always, common when people are losing. But when head coach DeMeco Ryans is visibly upset and yelling at the ref, something we have not seen all season, then you know something's up. He knows when stuff doesn't smell right. And head coach DeMeco Ryans was visibly frustrated by this officiating crew. It was that bad, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not trying to sugarcoat it. And yet, we almost tied this game. If Kaimi Fairbairn plays today, the Houston Texans get a W. 2 missed field goals by backup kicker Matt Amendola, who was on the street just 3 weeks ago, never made a 50-yard field goal in his entire career, challenged with making a 58, and it barely misses. I mean, hits the flagpole. If anything, I am more confident in this team because this was a hard game, a playoff type of game, right? We were fighting for the AFC South. We're now 6-5. The playoff dreams, it does get a little bit harder. But I am confident in this Houston Texans team. I am not going to sit here in front of you and say I am disappointed. I am giving up. No, because what I saw in this team, the fight that they had overcoming officials, I mean, leading up to kick the field goal, 2nd and 25 after C.J. Stroud takes a ugly sack, a pass to Nico Collins, then a conversion to Robert Woods. Whatever they were throwing at us, the Houston Texans were handling it well. That's why I am confident for the rest of this season. The Houston Texans showed you today that they belong in that conversation. The conversation of which teams are legit, and the Houston Texans are. I'm going to tell you that right now. And no one expected this from this young team. No one did. I remember being picked as having the worst roster heading into this season. I have not forgotten. The Houston Texans today played against the Jacksonville Jaguars and played against the refs. C.J. Stroud on the day, 304 yards, 2 touchdowns through the air, 47 yards on the ground with a rushing touchdown. The offense was all CJ. He furthers his MVP conversations. There was no help from the running backs. Devin Singletary, Damian Pierce, 18 yards, 14 yards. Receiving, your leaders, Nico Collins, 7 catches, 104 yards, 1 touchdown. Great job by him, looking alive, staying active, and getting that touchdown when stuff broke down for C.J. Stroud. Devin Singletary, 6 catches, 54 yards. Tank Dell, 5 for 50. Robert Woods, 2 for 40. Xavier Hutchinson, 1 for 34. That big time play towards the end of the game. Dalton Schultz only being targeted twice for 1 yard. 1 catch, 2 yards. I mean, that's crazy. Dalton Schultz has been having games that we have not seen from a Houston Texans tight end all year. Very shocked by the lack of production from him today. Overall, the offense, it had its moments. I was very surprised that on that 4th and 1 situation right before we really started the comeback, not putting the ball on the ground, not trusting Devin Singletary or Damian Pierce to get just 1 yard. That's saying something. We saw C.J. Stroud use his legs more. I would like to see more of that. There was definitely some first downs that I thought he could have gotten with his legs. But overall, this Houston Texan offense, they could do better. They could obviously have more help from the run game. We see what happens that when you play against a team that knows one of your weaknesses. And what I mean by that is this whole season, it's just been the Houston Texans passing offense. The last 2 weeks were kind of outliers in terms of your offensive game plan was working for the passing attack and the rushing attack, and it just was not there today rushing-wise. Switching to the defense, Trevor Lawrence, 364 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 INT, 1 rushing touchdown as well. Obviously, we talked about the penalties and how they were helped multiple times extending their drives. But it was a bend, don't break type of day for this Houston Texans defense when they needed to make a big play. That's exactly what happened. Man, guys, despite Trevor Lawrence being sacked 0 times, I felt like there was still pressure. Obviously, you can need more. I am screaming interior defensive linemen in free agency, in the draft. This game also showed me we're a couple of players away, but we can still shock anyone. Nonetheless, guys, the Houston Texans fall to the Jacksonville Jaguars 24-21, 6-5 on the season. I am not giving up. No one should either. If I am a Jags fan, I don't know how I could walk out of this game and feel confident. For more Houston Texans content, y'all feel free to follow me for more. Go H-Town. You guys have a very blessed day.